race fans, and welcome back to the Metro Ford Cup Series here at the Old Bastards Racing League. Looking forward to another great night here for the Sunday morning race and fantastic competition each and every week. As always, I'm your host, James East, bringing the action 1080p 60 frames a second, as right now qualifying is underway. It looks like it's Lee Warsdale on the top spot as we try and get that graphic updated for you. Let's see who else is out on track. Looks like Eddie Jones getting ready to roll out here in qualifying. Sitting patiently at the end of pit road, so he's going to wait a little while longer. Let's check in on Dan Hill, who's rolling out. Only 6 drivers have put down qualifying times, but again, I'd like to thank our title sponsor, eMetro Ford, coming on board. If you're looking for a new or used vehicle, check them out, emetroford.com. The best selection right now that you can find, and they will get you financed. Kimball.net. If you're looking to go bowling, check out our friends, Kimball.net, coming on board, as well as Dr. Amy, the thyroid fixer. And we can't forget our friends over at Victor Lane Sports as well, coming on board this season. Good to have all the sponsors. And let's see what the drivers can do here today. We've got 165 laps here at Iowa. No fast repairs, and I believe just 7 incident points available for these drivers to go through. And as always, let us know in the spectator area where you're from, who you're cheering on. As Hill on his second time lap, he's qualified for so far. He's got a best of 35.05 by Warsdale to take that top spot. Let's see what Hill can do this time by. A 34.61, the number 10, puts it in the top spot for the time being. He's got to keep an eye out. You've got some fast guys, Dwayne MacArthur, Eddie Jones out on track. You got other guys such as Kevin Strandberg, Tom Ogle, Josh Robinson, who have yet to go out here. As we check in on Eddie Cajun Jones in the number 14 Chevrolet. MacArthur on his opening lap clicks off a 34.72, good enough for second. So Hill may know that MacArthur trying to get that top spot. Jones making his way around for his first timed lap. MacArthur was not able to improve on a 34.72. He's going to have to settle for second for the time as Eddie Jones in his opening lap, a 34.74. Good enough for third so far. Will anybody best Dan Hill? That number 10 machine. Hill's been getting faster and faster as this season progresses. Kevin Strandberg jumping up the standings to second place in qualifying. Oh, looks like Jones had a bit of a bobble there out of 4. And I believe he's going to have to settle for 4th. I'm not seeing an updated lap time on that one. Who else is out on track? Greg McDaniel, the number 30 machine. You've got Tom Ogle, Michael Watts, Andrew Hess, also burning off some laps here. Dean Gears making his way out for a very late qualifying run. Michael Watts has moved all the way up into second. Tom Ogle now qualified third. Both drivers getting down into this 34.6 range. Ogle with a 34.7 flat. McDaniel on his opening lap clicked off a 35.25, so he's got a lot of time to try and drop if he wants to get upside and get into the front row here. And let's see, does he improve on 35.25? He does, a 34.76, good enough for a 7th place qualifying run. Robinson out on track. He's currently qualified 11th with a 35.18. Dan Hill, though, holding on to that pole position. I think if there's anybody out on track that could take it away from him, it could very well be Robinson, number 23, Micro Center backed Ford Mustang. Let's see, what does Robinson do? He did a 35.18 his opening lap, a 34.68. That'll move him up to 4th, but Dan Hill maybe hold on to the top spot. Yes, he is. His qualifying comes to an end here. Wait to get our drivers out on pit road. And let's look at the grid for today's feature event. Dan Hill in the top spot. Michael Watts qualifying 2nd. Tom Ogle starting 3rd. Josh Robinson starting 4th. Kevin Strandberg 5th on the grid. Twain MacArthur starting 6th. Eddie Jones starts 7th. Greg McDaniel starting 8th. Andrew Hess starts 9th. Lee Warsdale starting 10th. Dakota Pischke starting 11th. Steve Thompson starting 12th. We've got Dean Gear starting 13th. Jonathan Green 14th. Michael Dow starts 15th. Lloyd Moore starting 16th. Ken Huff starting 17th. Darrell Wininger starting 18th. Ryan Lindsay starts 19th. Jeff Miller starting 20th. And that will round out the grid here today at Iowa as we get them lined up behind our iRacing safety car. Race Control will give these guys a few last-second briefing notes. Usually consisting of, don't drive over your head, have a good time, and respect your fellow competitors. As we get them out underway here. So it's going to be Hill and Watts on the front row. Robinson and Ogle, 2 teammates, your 2nd row. MacArthur and Strandberg, your 3rd row. We've got Richard Meyer here today cheering on all the guys over at Last Ditch Racing. Pace car is in. There's, a big blink there from Ogle. And let's go racing here at Iowa for the Metro Ford Cup Series. It looks like Tom Ogle has disconnected from the server. Very uncharacteristic as Dan Hill gets a pretty good jump on the field. 4/10 up over Michael Watts in 2nd. Behind Watts is Robinson, who's gained 1 position. MacArthur up 2 spots, and Kevin Strandberg rounds out the top 5. And very impressed for the most part. It looks like we're fairly happy going single file here. So the field kind of stacks up in turn 1. There's Jonathan Green in the 37 machine trying to make some moves up a little bit ahead. We saw some side-by-side action with Warsdale and Hess, I believe it was. Warsdale in the 99, Hess in the 54. As it looks like drivers just clicking off laps here. Wayne MacArthur in 4th has Kevin Strandberg right behind him. Ahead, you can see Robinson's linked up to the tail of Michael Watts in what will be the battle for 2nd. I was very surprised the field getting kind of stretched out here up front. Now, if you go back to about 9th place, that's Andrew Hess in the 54, being chased by the black and yellow 67 of Steve Thompson. You've also got Dakota Pischke, Dean Gear, Daryl Wininger, Michael Dow in that pack. Very interesting. I'm a little surprised to see the field this spread out, this single file, and I dare say even calm at the opening laps of the race. As it looks like Gear was taking a peek at the inside line of Pischke. Oh, there's Dean Gear tagging that outside wall, holding on to it. As that may allow Michael Dow with the number 60 machine, yes. Picking up another spot here. Brian Lindsay's going to try and find his way through. As no Gear fires back in the battle for 13. And a little bobble, but trying to capitalize. Keep that momentum, not let that mistake compound. But Dow in the all-orange Gatorade back, number 60, saw the opportunity. I don't think he wants to get squeezed back here, wants to keep moving forward. Up a little bit ahead, Kevin Strandberg still riding around in 5th as Eddie Jones slowly working up to him in that number 14 machine. Strandberg gaining a little bit of time on the brakes to the back of MacArthur. But MacArthur running more of a swooping line and carrying just a little bit more exit speed here. Look at that, Kevin Strandberg running Durrell Racing on the side of his car. Had the pleasure of meeting Mr. Durrell last week at one of my flat track events I was announcing. So good to see the crossover between sim racing and real life racing always at play here. As now Strandberg still trying to close that gap to MacArthur, but MacArthur able to pull 1/10 to 2/10 at a time over the 58, and that's allowing Eddie Jones to close the gap less than 2/10 of a second to Strandberg. This is the battle for 5th in a championship where every point matters at the end. Consistency is what's going to bring home the championship for these drivers. Will we see Jones close the gap and move up to 5th? Or will slow and steady bring it home here, as tire wear always a concern for these drivers? Now coming into tonight, Wayne MacArthur, your 4th place driver out on track, is our current point leader, 39 points ahead of Josh Robinson. And we did get word from our pit reporter, Tom Ogle has rejoined the race, but he'll be about 10 laps down. Ogle is 4th in points in this championship, so he's going to get back out there as quick as he can and try and salvage an evening. Right now, again, the field pretty stretched out. Not seeing any big lunges, dives, or moves here. And interesting enough, I did not get a report from any of the drivers or crew chiefs on how long the fuel run can be here. So going to be a bit of a mystery for all parties involved as we pan back to 10th place. Steve Thompson up 2 spots in the Toyota Camry. The lone Toyota out on track. He's getting chased by Dakota Pischke in the number 1, Daryl Winninger in the 106. We've got another battle unfolding here, ladies and gentlemen. Looks like Michael Watts running 2nd. Has Josh Robinson, the number 23 machine, all sorts of behind him. Now Robinson wants to get out front, try and earn as many bonus points as he possibly can here to help close that gap to MacArthur, your points leader. And it looks to me, if the driver in front of you doesn't make any mistakes, it's going to be very tough to make any big moves here at Iowa. We're not quite halfway through the season. We're on race 15 out of 36 so far this year. And again, Robinson in that number 23 Ford, 39 points back from MacArthur. Both drivers tied with 4 wins so far this season. And Robinson has about a 93-point advantage over 3rd place championship driver Eddie Jones. So still a lot of ground to be made up here. As let's see, is Robinson going to send it up the inside? No, he waits behind Watts for a little while longer. You can see Dan Hill just about 1 second ahead of this 2-car pack. Hill, I can't brag on him enough. A driver that's really getting more comfortable each and every time. He's currently 6th in the points. And I believe it was just this year he earned that double-digit number, signifying he can go out, qualify, and race with the big guys. Now you'll see a couple of triple-digit drivers out on track, signifying newer members to the Metro Ford Cup Series. They are unable to qualify and have to start from the back until they earn that double digit. Looks like it's just Daryl Winninger in the 106, our lone rookie driver out on track. Winninger is up 6 spots so far, has made his way up into 12th. And he's tucked in behind Dakota Pischke. That's a good driver to learn from. The field's starting to bunch up here from about 9th to 12th place. You got Hess, Thompson, Pischke, Winninger all right here together. And I think for the most part, the only big passes we've seen is from drivers having a little bit of bobbles. Dean Gear has come down pit road in the 92 machine. He's got some sort of issue going on. As now Dakota Pischke pressuring the 67 of Thompson. And what happened there? Thompson eats it off track, takes a tow, and he will be parking in here. Let's see what happened to the 67. I didn't see any contact there. No, just breaks loose coming out of 2, I believe. Launches into orbit and absolutely drills the inside wall, excuse me. So I believe Thompson will be done and out for the evening. No caution. As Dan Hill still has the race lead behind him. Watson, Robinson running nose to tail. Wondering if Robinson's maybe using that 84 machine to save a bit of fuel here. The year has left pit road after a minute and a half. And still Watson Robinson charging along in second and third place. Dan Hill has extended his lead to 1.3 seconds over the rest of the field. I'm very interested to see how these green flag stops are going to come into play. Let's go a little bit further back. The Lloyd Moore, Brian Lindsay. Moore making the pass on Lindsay's number 24 machine. You can see Michael down, the number 60 right behind. The battle for 12th out on screen. Now 25 laps in, you're about to see tire saving come into play for these drivers. Those who are able to keep a little bit of rubber underneath them, in theory, should start slowly working their way up the standings compared to the drivers who burned it off early on. That being said, it does not appear that Iowa is an easy track to make passes on. And let's see what Robinson and Watts are going to do here. Robinson was looking at the outside line to Watts in the battle for second. Let's see, I'm very surprised not to see Robinson making any jabs here. Playing it safe right behind Watts and not in a big hurry, it looks like, to try and make something happen. Now, if you're watching here today, let us know what you think. Is this going to be green flags chugging along? We've had a couple of big moments, especially Steve Thompson, who took that toe to avoid bringing out the caution. Will we see this thing continue to go green? I am personally of the belief after we have a green flag stop, things are going to get a little bit more dicey out here. Drivers get used to driving a very tight race car. Right now, most of the field about 2 seconds off their fastest lap of the race, fighting the tire wear. And we've still got busy racetrack all around. Andrew Hess has moved up to 8th, Lee Warsdale 9th, Dakota Pischke 10th, and Daryl Winninger currently 11th. Quite a frantic little pack here. And look at that, I think that's Tom Ogle trying to get some laps back here. He's still about 10 laps down from the rest of the field. But charging forward and making it a little bit interesting, going a little bit further forward. Dwayne MacArthur has Kevin Strandberg in the 58 machine right behind him. 2 tenths back in the battle for 4th. Oh, as MacArthur pushes very wide there. He's fighting that front right tire, trying to keep some traction on the ground. Kevin Strandberg sees that mistake, follows him in there deep, but not able to get too much ground. Now these two drivers running 4th and 5th are about 4.5 seconds back. Michael Watts and Josh Robinson, who are still linked up nose to tail, running 2nd and 3rd. As Strandberg trying the outside line against MacArthur, able to make it happen. Strandberg moving up into 4th. So it's late in the tire run. Are we going to see the same move out of Robinson? They are very slowly closing the gap to Dan Hill up front. It is now down to 9 tenths. Hill had over 1.5 seconds at one point during this opening run. Will Watts and Robinson maybe work together here and try and reel in Dan Hill, who's been out there in no man's land the entire time. Now Hill has had clean air all around him for the opening 36 laps here at Iowa, so he's in a great spot just to focus on hitting his marks and keeping the tire wear manageable over the duration of the run. It's always an average of who can keep the lowest lap time. Oh, as we say that, Hill with a big moment. Coming out of 2, he's going to lose a whole lot of speed here. Getting a little bit right on the edge. Here comes Michael Watts, Josh Robinson about to join the race leader. And just like that, it could very well be a 3-car battle for the lead. Michael Watts, Josh Robinson starting to join your race leader, Dan Hill. How important is the clean air going to be on the front of these machines? This Hill will still have the advantage there. And now Watts, for the first time in a long time, will have dirty air in front of that 84 machine. Robinson's gotten used to it. He's been staying behind Watts for the entirety of this run. Oh no, and Dan Hill, a big blink, your race leader. That's the last thing the number 10 machine needs right now. Because he wants to have full control over that machine, as it looks like Watts and Robinson still closing the gap. But it looks like Hill able to get things under control, still holding the race lead by about a quarter of a second. But Watts and Robinson still trying to charge forward and very slowly close that gap to Hill. They've also got the draft advantage now, something they haven't had for a while. And 40 laps in, half a second separating your top three drivers. We haven't had any green flag pit stops yet so far. Save for one or two drivers that had a fair amount of damage early on. Dean Gear came in on lap 19. Jonathan Green came in on lap 31. And our good friend Steve Thompson had to unfortunately retire in the 67 machine on lap 21. Now, will these three drivers duke it out before the green flag stop? And who's going to be the first driver to come down pit road and give us some sort of idea of how long we can go here at Iowa before the fuel starts to run dry and the cars start to sputter? And I think pretty soon Hill's going to be running into some lap traffic here. I saw a rear bumper peeking at us in the corner of the screen. Not quite sure who it's going to be. I think it may be Ken Huff in the 46 Chevrolet. Yes, he's going to be about 5-6 seconds ahead of your race leader. And Hill's definitely not going to be backing off here. He knows there's a lot of heat coming behind him with Watts and Robinson linked up nose to tail. It looks like Jonathan Green has also sent it back to the virtual hauler tonight, not getting back out on track. That's two drivers who have unfortunately had to send it back to the virtual hauler early on. Let's see, looks like Hill starting to pull a gap once more, about 0.6 over Watts. This may force Robinson to get a little bit antsy here if he's not happy pulling in the race leader. Last time by, Hill was about a tenth faster than both Watts and Robinson, but soon again, Hill will have that traffic to contend with. It's going to be Ken Huff just ahead. Ooh, Huff goes very, very wide here. I believe drivers were instructed to go wide to allow a pass from the leaders if able. And Hill able to get by the 46 machine, no worries there. Let's see what happens with Watts and Robinson. Huff holding that outside line, but drivers wanting to naturally drift wide out of the corners, and sometimes there's just nowhere to go, having to check up slightly. Well, Huff ever so slightly tagged that outside wall, trying to get offline and make things easier, but sometimes that puts you out in a spot where you're not comfortable, especially as the cars have really tightened up. Really tough to hold it down there, as we saw Huff tag the wall, and that's cost Robinson and Watts a fair amount of time. Dan Hill's pulled the gap to 8/10 over the second and third place driver, as once again, even more traffic in play here. We've whittled it down now to 14 drivers on the lead lap. And Hill getting a little bit lucky with traffic, extends the gap to just about a second over Michael Watts and Josh Robinson. But again, here we go. Greg McDaniel looked like he was going to be one of the first drivers down pit road, but I believe he's got some sort of connection issues out of the number 30 machine. That'll be the second driver we've seen drop due to connection. Both Greg McDaniel and Tom Ogle having major problems. Looks like McDaniel able to get it back out on track, but not in a good spot is Andrew Hess, Dakota Pischke, Darrell Winger, all in a tight four-car pack here in the battle for 7. There goes Hess making the move, as well as Dakota Pischke going to try and follow suit. Let's see if Wininger follows in the 106. Well done to Wininger as well. Our current hard charger out on track. The rookie driver with triple digits, up 9 positions so far. Started off 18th, has worked his way up into 9th. And not showing any sign of slowing down here. Meanwhile, second, still Watts running strong with Robinson right behind him. Two laps in, and we haven't seen anybody with a scheduled 1 green flag stop. The halfway mark is going to be about lap 83. Surely these drivers can't stretch it out that long. As Watts and Robinson once again pulling in Dan Hill. It's been a yo-yo game, back and forth, 52 laps. I think traffic may be one of the deciding factors that has prevented the charge of Watts and Robinson from catching up to Hill. It's just luck on when you run into your other drivers. No pun intended there. Is this going to be the first stop of the night? Yes, it's Michael Watts coming down pit road in the 84. Trying to get it loaded up. Will anybody follow him here? No, it is just going to be Watts down pit road. Our first driver in. As Dan Hill, Josh Robinson, Kevin Strandberg opt to stay out. We got somebody tagging the wall there. I believe that may have been the 60 of Michael Dow. Just ahead of your race leaders. Greg McDaniel coming down pit road for his scheduled green flag stop. And we've got problems. Ken Huff taking an alternative line there on his way to pit road. I'm wondering if that was a bad pit entry. Yes, it was. Tagging the grass. Flat tracking it around. Able to hold on to it though, so well done to Huff. And now with no Michael Watts in front of him, Josh Robinson looks to challenge Dan Hill for the race lead. We've got 11 drivers on the lead lap. And the battle for the lead out on screen. Dan Hill has pressure from Josh Robinson. Eddie Jones coming down pit road for a green flag pit stop. Now, I'd imagine both these drivers, historically from what we've seen out of them, will stretch the fuel limit to the absolute end of the run, as Robinson feels like he needs to come down pit road, while Dan Hill will stay out. We're going to pull up the live timing tower to the left side of your screen to see where your favorite driver is, as we're about midway through the green flag pit stop. Got about 9 drivers who have yet to come down pit road, who are still on the lead lap. And Dan Hill will follow suit down pit road. Let's see, Josh Robinson's in pit road, Lee Warsdale coming down pit road, Kevin Strandberg coming down pit road. MacArthur looks like he's going to stay out here for another lap. So MacArthur tries something a little bit different on pit strategy, and he will get a lap lead here at Iowa. Here's fan favorite Tom Ogle just ahead of MacArthur. Ogle still, unfortunately, about 10 laps down in a race that has not had any cautions, not boding well for the number 11 machine or his point streams here today. Your top 4 drivers have yet to come down pit road. That's MacArthur, Hess, Pischke, Moore, and yeah, that's it. Michael Watson 5th. He came down pit road on lap 53. So far, 60 laps is the most we've seen out of the drivers, and that's from our top 4, giving us an idea of how long you can go on fuel here at Iowa. MacArthur coming down pit road. Let's see, does Andrew Hess come down? No, he stays out in the 54. Also looking for a lap lead here. Now, drivers do receive a bonus point for leading a lap And again, we talked about it, how tight the championships can really get down to. Every single point matters. So if some of these drivers can get that one extra point, that's very well worth it for them. As there's MacArthur trying to get a lap back from Andrew Hess, does so nice and easy. Hess still, though, your race leader. He's just about 1.8 seconds ahead of Dakota Pischke. Right now it's Hess, Pischke, and Moore, the three drivers who have yet to come down pit road. Moore has come down pit road right as I said that. And you can see drivers getting their lap back from Andrew Hess, showing 10 drivers on the lead lap. Hess really stretching out the fuel run here. Both Hess and Pischke at this point the only drivers who have yet to come down pit road. I've been calling this race the wrong thing the entire time. Pedal to metal saying I thought it was Gateway. Yes, Gateway, Worldwide Technology Raceway. I'm not sure why I thought that was in Iowa, but you are correct. Illinois is what I got it confused with. But yes, we are in Illinois here at the Worldwide Technology Center, also known as Gateway. As we watch Hess still clicking off laps. Just about 1.6 seconds ahead of Dakota Pischke, but now Hess will come down pit road. Will Pischke follow? No, the number one machine gonna stay out as Andrew Hess has problems on that pit entry. Gliding through the grass, and Pischke will get a lap lead here at Gateway in the number one machine. 66 laps is what we're seeing these drivers stretch it out on fuel runs. Now, I don't think Pischke's going to be able to make this a one-stop race, try as he might. As we are now 8 drivers on the lead lap, as Pischke gets another credit for a lap lead here, up 10 positions, but still has yet to come down pit road in that number one machine. And you can see some drivers behind him that are going to be much, much faster on fresher tires. Now, if we're going to see a caution come out, this is about the point of the race where I would expect it. You've got drivers on very differing tire strategies, and the pit cycle's not quite yet completed. I think Pischke, the only driver out on track here who has yet to come down pit road. And I think we saw a hand come out the window of the number one. I believe he's going to be coming in this time by. Yes, he will. So that's going to put Michael Watts as your race leader. And look at that. Who's right behind him? Josh Robinson. Still on the bumper of the 84 machine. Watts came down pit road on lap 53. Robinson on lap 57. And after it's all said and done, still less than 2/10 separating the two drivers as our green flag stops are just about wrapped up. Now, is this the point where we're going to see Robinson challenge for the race lead? He knows he has 4-lap newer tires underneath him compared to Watts. 9 drivers on the lead lap. Let's see Dakota Pischke. After he had a solid pit stop on lap 68, he comes back out on track 11. 1 lap down from your race leaders. Robinson looking to the outside line of Watts, not quite able to make it happen, but starting to explore some different strategies, some different lines on what it's going to take. Robinson wants the credit for a lap led. He wants that bonus point to try and reel in MacArthur just a little bit on the point standings here. But I've got to say, it looks like Robinson's been very comfortable just following Watts around here. And I wonder if that's allowed Robinson to maybe save a little bit more fuel like we saw in the opening run. Robinson was out for 4 laps longer than Watts was. Right now, Watts just clicking off laps. Both drivers almost identical lap times, 35.89 their last time by, but both drivers just at a second off their pace for the fastest laps of the evening. I'm wondering if we are going to see any record-breaking lap times later on. Out of about, looks like 18 drivers still out on track. These are the closest to just about to the halfway mark tonight. Watts and Robinson can't get away from each other here. And here we go, Robinson and Watts side by side for the race lead. Robinson able to get through, looked like nice and easy there for the first time. The number 23 machine's gonna be out front getting a lap led here at Gateway. Right as we say that, we had some off-track shenanigans with Jeff Miller in the 68. Not sure what happened to him. He's behind the 46 and just loses the back end. What a great save, though, from Jeff Miller. Now watch this. Historically, this is where Robinson is absolutely lethal. When he's out front, he's got a green flag run and clean air in front of him. Robinson, a 35.97. Watts, a 36.24, a quarter second off. But keep an eye out, Dakota Pischke with much fresher tires after his lap 68 pit cycle. Going to start working through the field as well here. Robinson quickly extending that gap to 1 second up over over Watts. A little bit further back, we still have a battle for 8th underway. It's Greg McDaniel, Darrell Winninger. McDaniel, the number 30 machine. Winninger in the 106. And speaking of the Manufacturers Cup, right now it's Ford running first and second. Chevrolet running third, all the way back to 10th. The Chevy dominating the standings here tonight just on numbers alone. As Winninger looks to the inside of McDaniel down the backstretch at Gateway. And it looks like the 106 is going to make it a smooth 10 positions gained so far. So again, Winninger, that triple-digit number signifies a newer comer here to the Metro Ford Cup Series. Was not able to qualify, had a start at the back, and is making his way forward amongst some absolute titans. Everybody here at the Metro Ford Cup Series runs so fast, so consistent each and every week. We see two teammates, MacArthur and Jones, side by side. MacArthur working his way back up into 5th, past his teammate Jones in the 14 machine. But here at the Sunday morning Metro Ford Cup Series, more likely to see green flag runs than cautions. We've had our few outliers, a few wrenches thrown in the plans of things, but for the most part, the guys keep it clean each and every week. As knock on wood, trying to avoid the commentator's curse, have not had any cautions here so far tonight. As the field once again stretching out, your race leader Josh Robinson has extended his gap over Watts to 2.6 seconds. Watts must have something going on. Yes, he's got a little bit of traffic in front of him. We saw the timing rapidly drop in the favor of Josh Robinson. And now Robinson will have a 2.5 second advantage over Michael Watts. Watts tucked in behind Pischke, who's trying tooth and nail to get on the lead lap. Dean Gear coming down pit road for another green flag stop on a different pit strategy. As we take a nice wide angle shot here at Gateway. Focusing in on Robinson, the number 23 machine. Has a whole lot of traffic in front of him as your race leader, but he's got a 2.6 second advantage over second place. So that's going to bode well for Robinson. He's got time to take it easy, not take any too big risky moves. Past the halfway mark of today's main event at Gateway, and so far we've been clicking off green flag laps the entire time. 9 drivers still on the lead lap, and there's not really many drivers who are within a half second of each other at this point. Robinson pulling the gap now to 3.2 seconds. Let's go a little bit further back, though, to Lee Worsdale. Has Lloyd Moore within about a half second of him. And that will be the battle, what could be the battle for 11. If Moore is able to reel in that 99 Ford Mustang of Worsdale. Sporting the Miller High Life paint scheme. Oh, here we go. Moore looks up the inside line. Worsdale holds the outside line and make it easy to facilitate that pass. He will make it happen. A little bit further ahead, Dakota Pischke working his way around Greg McDaniel. Pischke with the advantage of 15 lap newer tires underneath him on that number 1 Chevrolet. And a very interesting pit stop strategy. Now we're expecting Josh Robinson to come down pit road about lap 114 here if he stays true to form on his pit strategy. But if need be, Robinson, I believe, could stretch it out all the way to lap 125 before that fuel tank's starting to run a little bit dry. We're basing that data off when Robinson first came down pit road. He did 57 laps, but you got guys such as Pischke stretched it way, way out, 68 laps under green flag, so plenty of room for drivers to play here. Robinson, 3.6 seconds. Haven't really seen anybody come down pit road for their final stops of the night here. As the field very stretched out here. Nobody really within 1.5 seconds of each other. It's all just about 2-second gaps across the board. It's still Robinson, your race leader, Watts running second. Dan Hill having a good night, qualified in pole and still holding on to a third place spot. And it looks like Hill about 2.8 seconds up over Kevin Strandberg in fourth, with Dwayne MacArthur rounding out the top 5 here. Trying to see, that is Pischke right ahead of your race leader. Pischke was one of the few drivers that really gambled deep on a late race pit stop. Has worked very, very hard to get back on the lead lap, and he's seems like it's working well, running about 0.6 faster than Robinson at this point. I'm not quite sure if that was the right call though, as Robinson usually fairly quick over these green flag runs. Now the fuel window is officially open for these drivers based off what we saw from Dakota Pischke, who stretched it out for 68 laps on that opening run. We believe that if any drivers take a pit stop, they should be good to go all the way out to the end here. But we are expecting Robinson to come in around the lap 115 mark for his final stop of the night. But the other thing is, none of these drivers want to get caught out, caught in pit road if a caution does come out. Robinson extending that gap to 3.2 seconds up over Michael Watts. I wonder if he's using the draft here of Pischke with those newer tires. Pischke is the last car on the lead lap. We've got 9 drivers on the lead lap, and Robinson may be able to pick up a little bit of a tow here, help out those average lap times if the dirty air isn't causing him a little bit of discomfort. I think he's okay here. About a second off the back of Dakota Pischke, running 9th. Don't worry too much about dirty air. Looks like Dwayne MacArthur, Eddie Jones, two teammates come down pit road together on lap 105. That will be their last scheduled pit stop of the night, barring any cautions to give these drivers a chance to reset. We think Robinson's going to stay out for about 9 more laps at most. I don't think he's going to stretch out as far as Pischke did. As now Darrell Winninger coming down pit road for his final stop of the night, final planned stop. I can't stress that enough. There's still time for a caution to really upset the plans here. So now with these final green flag stops underway, we've only got 6 drivers on the lead lap. I don't think at this point, even still, any of the top 5, top 6 drivers are going to hope for a caution to put those guys down a lap. I think they're going to want to try and run this thing clean and green all the way to the end. We've made it just about 110 laps so far under green flag race. It'd be a shame to see the yellow flag come out now, as Watts seems to be closing the gap slightly to Robinson. Last time by, Watts was about 0.2 faster than your race leader. Ken Huff in the 46 coming down pit road for his final stop of the night. As Robinson down pit road for his final planned stop, Michael Watts has followed him into pit road. Let's see how this one's going to shape out. Dan Hill, Kevin Strandberg, Andrew Hess have opted to stay out the top 3. Dakota Pischke also down pit road. Kevin Strandberg coming down. So Hill qualified out front, stays out as long as he possibly can here. Andrew Hess staying out as well. Robinson still in third after his lap 109 pit stop. Let's see how this is going to shape out here at Gateway. Green flag stops just about underway. We're still waiting on Hill and Hess to come down pit road. And still, Hill and Hess opting to stay out here. I'm a little surprised. Maybe that's two drivers that are looking for a caution. Now, Hill has not been down pit road since lap 58. We think 67 laps is the most he can possibly run, so we're expecting him to run out of fuel around lap 125 or so. As it looks like that's Kevin Strandberg in the 58 Chevrolet trying to get a lap back, looking to the inside line of your race leader. Able to do so nice and clean. But Greg McDaniel trying to get a lap back here. So when will the number 10 machine come down pit road, or is he going to stretch it to the limit here on fuel? And oh no, your race leader Hill off in the grass on pit road entry. Not what he wanted to see here. Will Andrew Hess stay out because he's got Josh Robinson, a teammate, right behind him on, oh goodness, 44 lap fresher tires underneath them. There's Josh Robinson taking over the race lead from teammate Andrew Hess. Robinson came in a lap 109. Hess has yet to come down pit road for his final stop. You've also got Michael Watts coming down the back stretch as well, coming out of 2. Will be second place as he still reels in Andrew Hess running second. But again, Hess has yet to come down pit road. So as it stands, it's Robinson, Hess, Watts, Strandberg, MacArthur. Your current top 5. Out of those drivers, though, Andrew Hess has yet to come down pit road. Well, I think that's going to allow just about everybody except for Robinson to move up a spot. Robinson can't move up any further as he's your race leader with a very comfortable 2.7-second gap. Lee Warsdale, the 99 Ford Mustang, down pit road for the final time here tonight. Michael Dow, Brian Lindsay also in pit road. And now Watt starting to reel in Hess in the 54 machine. And this is the battle for second. Watts looks to the inside line of Hess. Looks like he's going to have it here in the 3, sending it a little bit deeper, using those much fresher tires to his advantage. And Watts takes over the second place spot. Panning back to your race leader, Josh Robinson. checking out here today. 5 seconds up over Watts. 7.4 seconds up over Kevin Strandberg, who came in about the same time, lap 110 compared to Robinson's lap 109 stop. And every time these drivers came down pit road tonight, it was 4 fresh tires, a full tank of gas. Down pit road for his final stop of the evening. Barring any cautions, I think Robinson's got to be absolutely ecstatic right now, just clicking off laps, making it look easy. As I'm looking at the live time, let's pull it up on the left side of our screen here. We've got 6 drivers on the lead lap, and everybody 3 seconds or further away from their nearest competition very late into the race. It's Robinson, Watts, Strandberg, your top 3, just about on the same pit strategy. Dan Hill, Dwayne MacArthur running 4th and 5th. Now, kind of interesting, Hill came in much later, 8 laps later than the rest of the field. So I'm wondering if we may see something out of that number 10 machine towards the final laps of the race. We've got just shy of 40 laps remaining. Now Hill, talking about this newer credit, was about 3/10 faster than Kevin Strandberg in front of him. In theory, if these pace remains, Hill should be able to close the gap in about 22 laps to that third place driver. But he's definitely going to have to be mindful of tire management over the duration of this run to try and make that happen. Can't burn up too much tire too early on. You will very quickly find yourself working your way backwards. We do have a battle for 7th out on track. Dakota Pischke pulling in Daryl Winninger. Winninger having a fantastic night as a triple-digit driver. He's up 11 spots so far from where he started. Winninger able to hold on. Almost looked like, sounded like Pischke was maybe grabbing a downshift there. Winninger pulling a gap, and look at Andrew Hess coming flying by after a lap 122 pit stop, climbing back up the standings. He's taken over the 8th place spot, running just about a second faster that last time by than Dakota Pischke. Hess has always been very consistent in his races, and one of the few drivers I've seen very consistently try out different strategies to see what's going to stick. And look at Hess blasting through the field here. He's already caught up to Winninger and looking to push that 54 machine up into the 7th place spot. Now Hess currently 5th in points here this season. He's had a few races that unfortunately ended back in the virtual hauler. I think he'd be a little bit higher in the standings, but I don't know if he's gonna have enough laps to keep making big moves like this. He's got just over 30 laps left to go, but Hess has worked his way back up into 7th. Checking back in on Josh Robinson, a 5.1 second advantage over Michael Watts, a 13.2 second gap over Kevin Stramberg. We've got 6 drivers on the lead lap with 30 laps left to go here at Gateway. Robinson just clicking off laps here. Looks like a relatively clean track ahead of him. That's Dean Gear behind. Gear running 14th out on track in the number 92 machine. And unfortunately, it looks like the momentum from Dan Hill has stalled slightly. Hill was running about 2 or 3 tenths faster than Kevin Stramberg in 3rd, but last time by, it looks like both drivers clicked off just about identical lap times. And the laps rapidly closing out here. Robinson's last time by, a 35.91. Watson second at 36.2. And again, to give you an idea, these guys were running high 34s early on in the race, so definitely feeling the effects of tire wear and attrition. That's a long time without any mental breaks at a racetrack with no cautions. And let's take you for a lap on board with your race leader. And we're going to interrupt that. We've got our first caution of the night with 25 laps left to go. It looks like it's going to be Lloyd Moore tied up in that one. Oh boy, what is going to happen here? Let's see what happened to Moore. He's in the 26 machine, gets into the side. I'm trying to see who he was into the side of there. And unfortunately, a massive impact. Let's try to look at that once more. I'm not quite sure who impact was made with between Moore. Get a nice tight camera angle. Looks like that's the 68 of Jeff Miller. Not sure if Miller came down or if Moore maybe pitted him, but both drivers absolutely pulverized. And this is going to shake things up as the first caution of the night. It looks like the top 4 drivers all down pit road together. The field getting a bit restacked here. 1st through 6th all came down pit road. Looking to be about 8 drivers on the lead lap. Now that the green flag run shenanigans have come to an end. We were looking good to have no cautions here tonight, but unfortunately at the very end, that yellow flag is going to come out once more. You can see a plume of smoke on pit road, where drivers will be stuck thinking what could have been here. And I think this is going to be very, very interesting. 7 drivers on the lead lap. It's Robinson and Hill, your front row. MacArthur, Strandberg, your second row. Jones and Watts, your third row. And don't forget about Andrew Hess, who's been playing very differing strategy. He's going to be on that 4th row as well, the last car on the lead lap. Now we know Robinson has the pace for long green flag runs. Will we see a short run hero throw a wrench into things here tonight? Pace car is in. And the green flag will fly here at Gateway. Will we run this thing green out with 21 laps left to go as cautions tend to breed cautions and things are about to get busy. Robinson takes over the race lead once more. Dan Hill tucked in right behind him as it looks like Strandberg and MacArthur battling very, very tightly there for third. Only 3 podium spots up for grabs, and we've got 7 drivers on this lead lap, all going to be fighting for it. Not nearly as much concern for tire wear at this point. Hill starting to keep that gap less than a quarter of a second to Robinson as look at Strandberg throwing it in there. Hard on the brakes, but that's going to cost him a lot of time on the backstretch, and I think that's going to allow MacArthur and Jones to try and set something up here. So 2 distinct battles going on. You've got Robinson and Hill linked up for the race lead, and then behind Kevin Strandberg in third is where the party is at as MacArthur, Jones, Watts, Hess all looking to get up there and make something happen. I think if you're about to see some fastest laps of the race, the time is now as Robinson ties his fastest lap, a 34.68. We've got guys such as Andrew Hess just clipped off a 34.59 a little bit further back. So once these guys get the heat in the tires, things are going to get real exciting with 19 laps left to go. Things getting even more bunched up here as well. Looks like Strandberg's starting to slowly pull up to Dan Hill in second. As speaking of, Dan Hill took a peek at the inside line of Robinson, looking for any sort of opening against your race leader. Robinson in the number 23 Ford Mustang. Hill can see a possible race win right in front of him, and I think he's going to fight real hard to make that happen. And it looks like Strandberg doing everything he can to try and pull in Dan Hill. Hill too busy keeping his eyes forward though. Wants to see and measure up Robinson for any sort of opportunity. Looks like Ken Huff had an off-track excursion, the 46 machine, able to hold on to it, thankfully not having another caution come out. Let's see what happened to Huff. Looks like he just lost the rear end there. Then it careening around. Did he keep it off the wall? I think he did. Well done to Huff. And now we've got a 3-car battle for the lead unfolding. It's Robinson, Hill, Strandberg, your top 3. As MacArthur and Jones watch on from the 4th and 5th place spots. 13 laps left to go as Robinson crosses the line. He's got 3.5 tenths over Hill. A quarter of a second over Strandberg. Schramberg very hard on the brakes there into turn 1. He doesn't have tire wear to worry about, so that could be paying off big dividends here as the laps wind on by. The field starting to separate just a little bit here. As Robinson hold on to the race lead, 11 laps left to go. Looks like Schramberg has a little bit of company from the fast Canadian, Dwayne MacArthur. This will be for the final podium spot. Now, if these two end up battling too intently, that's going to allow Robinson and Hill a chance of a breakaway. So if either Schramberg or MacArthur want the race win, ooh, Schramberg all sorts of out of shape there. Hard on the brakes, that's going to allow MacArthur a chance to slide up the inside line. MacArthur taking over the third place spot here. Will MacArthur be able to whittle away at the 8/10 advantage that Dan Hill currently holds in second? Or is he going to have his hands full as Schramberg working the limits of those brakes on the 58 Chevrolet? Which, unfortunately for Schramberg, had that car get a little bit loose, a little bit upset through 3 and 4, kind of bounded up a little bit. And that's what allowed MacArthur the chance to take over the third place spot. Robinson still out front. Dan Hill second, MacArthur third. And these top 3 drivers stretched out by about 8 to 9 tenths between each other. As Robinson, not having any issues, has extended his gap to 1.1 seconds over Dan Hill. MacArthur's closed the gap to Hill now to 6/10, but with 6 laps left to go, 7 laps left to go, I don't know if there's going to be enough time for MacArthur to work his way higher into the podium position. Now, Robinson's got to be happy here. The further back MacArthur finishes, the more points he will be able to whittle away from that 83 machine in the current points chase, because again, coming into tonight, MacArthur was 39 points up over Josh Robinson. But Robinson doing everything he can in his power to get a few extra points to close that gap and see what's going to happen. Going back to Kevin Schramberg, he's got company from Eddie Jones, and it looks like Andrew Hess as well. It's going to be a 3-car battle for 4th. Jones and Schramberg side by side. Hess looking for a way through. We got somebody look like parked on the track. That's Floyd Moore. And that's going to bring out the caution as Moore has parked it. What happened to Moore? I'm so confused. It looks like he just came to a stop there. Did he run out of gas? Did the... That's going to bring out another caution. We're on board with Moore. Oh, he just let the magic smoke out is the problem. The Moore in the 26 done blowed up. He is done out of the race, and unfortunately for our competition, that's going to bring out a second caution here with 5 laps left to go. I think that's going to be green-white checker conditions. So we've got 2 attempts at green-white checker overtime finishes. As, ooh, a gutsy move. MacArthur and Jones opt to stay out as Robinson, Hill, Strandberg, Hess, and Watts come down pit road. So very interesting. The last-ditch racing drivers staying out here on 20-lap old tires. I wonder if you're about to see 2 teammates make those cars very, very wide. So again, if you're just tuning in, you've got Dwayne MacArthur, Eddie Jones are going to be on the front row. 2 teammates going into green-white checker conditions. Behind them, a lot of fast guys. Now, Dan Hill looks like he only took 2 tires on that stop. But everybody else on the lead lap except MacArthur and Jones on their lap 141 set. And Hill, who took 2, took 4 fresh tires on this stop for the green-white checker. I wonder if MacArthur and Jones are thinking those guys behind them are going to be a little bit loose on the restart. But I think we're about to see some fireworks. We have 2 green-white checkers attempts available. This is our first one. Pace car will be in this time by now, if the race leader can take the white flag, we'll finish this thing up no matter what. But if there's another big incident where the caution comes out, we will run into our second overtime attempt. Pace car is out, in. Green flag is out, away they go. MacArthur and Jones on the front row, 20-lap older tires. The field heavily stacked up behind as Robinson and Hill side by side for second, looking for a way around the 2 teammates. making those last-ditch racing cars extra wide here. Oh, this is gonna be good. Will the front bumpers come into play as they're bumping and grinding? Robinson gets into MacArthur. They keep it pointed straight. No, around goes Hill. Is the caution going to come out? It's got to, as Andrew has pointed the right way. Caution is out before the white flag. We're going to go into our second green-white checker attempt. As, oh boy, here we go. Andrew has steam gear involved in that one. Let's check out the replay. Robinson bumps into MacArthur, grabbing that quarter panel. Hill bumps into, looked like Robinson. There's Dan Hill getting punted up front, and Andrew Hess just can't catch a break. He locks it up. And thankfully, it looks like most of the field able to get by him here. Oh, boy. Here we go, our second green-white checker attempt, our final green-white checker attempt. The front bumpers are in play, and things are about to get rowdy. Eddie Jones will still be in the top spot, but he'll be accompanied by Kevin Strandberg with much fresher tires. Daryl Winninger, Andrew Hess, both down pit road. And your top three showing as Jones, Strandberg, and Watts. There's Dakota Pischke getting a chance at redemption. He's got the lucky dog. As MacArthur and Hill round out the top five, but they're going to have a little bit of damage on those race machines. What's going to happen here? Will we be able to finish this race without a caution and checker being thrown at the same time? Get him gridded up double file as Jones and Strandberg on the front row. Watts, MacArthur, your second row. Now Kevin Strandberg looking for his second win of the season. Watts will be looking for his first win in the 84 machine. Pace car will be in this time by. And I have no idea what's going to happen. We ran most of this race under green flag conditions, and now things are getting exciting. Excuse me, we got one more lap under eye-pacing conditions. We've already seen the front bumpers come into play during our last green-white checker attempt. Will we see more of it here at Gateway? Pace car is in. Let's see what Jones can do with 20-lap older tires. He no longer has his teammate MacArthur on the front row to help stack things up. Green flag is out. And let's go for our final green-white checker attempt. Look at Kevin Strandberg rocketing it up the inside line next to Jones. Strandberg has 20-lap newer tires, but they're side-by-side, door-to-door, down the backstretch here at Gateway. Jones comes out on top by about 0.07 of a second. Strandberg gonna answer once more to 3. Strandberg's been very hard on the brakes here tonight. We've seen him have a few big moments as the car binds up, but it looks like he's gonna make it happen through 3 and 4. Sliding out in front of Jones. Here comes Watts as well in the 84. The white flag is out. We'll bring this thing home to the end for better or worse. Watts looks to the inside line against Jones, not quite able to make it happen. Strandberg stays out front as your race leader. Keep an eye on the 84 machine. Looking up to the inside line of Jones. It's Strandberg, Jones, Watts, currently your top 3. Ooh, how's it going to break down? I think Strandberg's got it here. Watts kind of an unknown as he's got things going on behind him. That's Dan Hill pitching it around. Checkered flag is out. It's going to be Kevin Strandberg picking up the win here at Gateway. Eddie Jones second, and Michael Watts rounding out the top 3. What a finish, what a finish. Kevin Strandberg in the Durrell Racing backed 58 Chevrolet on the top spot. And picking up his second season win here tonight. We're going to get drivers out on track for the final photo. Celebrating our top 3, then we're going to get these drivers up here in the waiting room. And Strandberg, got to work on his burnouts a little bit. But with only his second win of the season, he's got time. But well done, a lot of fun watching these top 3 drivers. And we're going to start getting drivers up here into the waiting room. Up first, we've got Michael Watts join us in the number 84 machine. Mike, what an ending to a race that very well looked like it was going to go green all the way to the end here.
Yeah, I was kind of hoping to stay green because I was in a really good spot to finish second and just have a good run today. And I got caught speeding on that caution, had to drop to the back, and just the way things worked out on that final second to final restart, managed to make up some spots. So, turned a big mistake into a good one. And I thought I had something for Eddie there at the end, but because he was on older tires. But yeah, he manages it well. So.
Now, Mike, with that second and final green-white checker attempt, were you expecting to see more front bumpers come into play like we did on that second to final restart?
Yeah, I kind of was. I was driving a little bit in the mirror and trying to figure out how to get around Eddie. I didn't think I had anything for Strandberg. He's always fast on fresh tires. So, yeah, congrats to those guys running and everybody else. I mean, I thought it was a really good, clean race for the most part. Yeah.
A lot of fun for him up here in the booth, and it looked like a lot of fun out on track. Mike, who do you want to give a shout out to? Any friends, family, sponsors that helped you get up inside the top 3 today?
Well, I'd just like to thank my team for coming out and and running with us. It makes that fun, and the old bastards for putting these races on. It's always a blast. Dwayne MacArthur's pretty important as far as helping me with my racecraft and getting faster. So I'd like to thank all of them.
Well said, Mike. Always a good time talking to you, and hope to have you back up here next week.
Thank you.
That was Michael Watts bringing home a third. Up next, we've got Eddie Jones bringing home the second place spot. Eddie, welcome, and what a run there at the end.
I'll take that. 7th place car, finishing second. I'll take it.
Now, Eddie, you and MacArthur stayed out on 20-lap older tires for that first green-white checker attempt, and you were, for better or worse, in that strategy. What was the thought process there between you and your teammate?
We were 5th, 6th, 7th place cars. It was going to be a green-white checkered. Hey, roll the dice, see what we can do.
Well, it seemed like it rolled in your favor tonight, my friend. Able to hold everybody off in that first attempt and still hold on to second in that second attempt. Now, after that first attempt, we saw a little bit of carnage, a little bit of mayhem. Were you worried that you might be getting pushed out of the way if you weren't quite on the pace of the guys behind you?
No, because I mean they're all real clean racers. I mean, we give each other room, so I really wasn't worried about that. Just I knew, I was a sitting duck if we had to go too many more laps.
Well said. And Eddie, it seemed like a great race all the way up 5 spots. So hey, a great night overall. Anybody want to give a shout to that helped you get here this evening?
Yeah, just teammates. All through the race. I didn't get any practice in, so there again, I came in blind and just listening to chatter on team channel and roll the dice there at the end. Took a 6th, 7th place car, got a second out of it, so I'll take it.
Well done, Eddie. Always a great time talking to my friend. Congratulations on a great finish tonight, and hope to have you back up here very soon.
Yes, sir. Thank you, James.
Thank you, Eddie. And up next, the man of the hour, Kevin Strandberg, bringing it home in the top spot in the Durrell back number 58. Good times. Good to have you back up here, and what a wild night to cap off what was a green flag race, Kevin.
Hey, thanks a lot. There was a little green-white checker action, but it was fun.
Now, I mean, when you saw that first green-white checker attempt, you knew the two drivers on the front row were on 20-lap older tires. What were you thinking was going to happen during that first attempt, and how did you get through that big pile-up relatively clean?
Well, I didn't know if they'd be able to hold us off. I didn't think they would, but something happened with Dwayne and Josh and Dan Hill, and I don't know. I have to watch the replay. I hope I didn't goof anything up, but I ended up sneaking through there somehow and put myself in a position to win, and it happened.
Yeah, it seemed like that second attempt really worked out in your favor, able to get around Jones on those older tires. And Kevin, it looked like tonight over that extremely long green flag run, it seemed like this was the Raceway very tough to make any moves on once the tire wears kind of came in. Is that what you were seeing and feeling as well out of the 58 machine?
Yeah, that's what I saw when I was watching my relative. It seemed like we were all just consistently running the same lap times at the end there, or in the middle of the race towards the end, and it was like you just got to end up finishing where you finish until that caution came out, and then it was all hell broke loose.
Well, Kevin, you picked up a win at Talladega, now won tonight at Gateway, which is definitely a driver's track. So, proving you've got the pace to run with the top guys. What's the plan in the coming races to maybe get up front and start to whittle away at the points of the top 5 guys?
Been trying to run cleaner, smoother. Just trying to stay more focused, and I guess that's the plan. Is just keep hitting my marks and doing what I've been doing lately.
Awesome. Well done. Good to have you back up here. Kevin, you've got the privilege, the pleasure, the distinction, my friend, the final send-offs of the night. Who do you want to give a shout to that helps you get in the top spot here in Victory Lane?
I'd like to thank Durrell Racing for sponsoring my car, Davey Durrell, and then Last Ditch Racing teammates. They helped me a lot. They have no idea how much they helped me, but they're the backbones behind my success lately. So thanks to them.
Awesome. Well said, Kevin. Congratulations, and hope to have you back up here very soon, my friend.
Thanks a lot, James.
Thank you, sir. And that was Kevin Strandberg in the top spot here at Gateway for the Old Bastards Racing League, sponsored by eMetro4.com. Victory Lane Sports, KimBull.net, and Dr. Amy coming on board this season. Whereas Kevin Strandberg bringing home the top spot, Eddie Jones second, and Michael Watts rounding out the top 3. As always, on behalf of Team Goon Squad Broadcasting, thank you all so much for tuning in, supporting the league, supporting your favorite drivers, and sometimes even supporting me. I look forward to having you back same time, same place next week, and you guys have a fantastic weekend. Have a great night, everybody.